We live in a world saturated with information. Today, there's an infinite abundance of people willing to tell you how to live your life, guide you, show you the right path, or share their own versions of the truth. Just like we do here. Don't let that slip by. There are content creators, writers, psychologists, gurus, well-meaning individuals, charlatans, liars, and recently even artificial intelligences offering you answers, solutions, and recipes for a fulfilling life. They remind you that if your life doesn't seem meaningful or crowned by success, it's because you're not searching properly, you're blocked, you're not focusing adequately, or perhaps you just don't have enough faith. Does all of that sound familiar? But ask yourself something. What if it's not like that? Welcome to the art of not knowing anything. Thank you for taking a few minutes of your time to reflect with me. I'd love for you to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support is crucial for the growth of this channel. This channel simply shares my interpretation of the reality in which we navigate. Just that, so don't take it too seriously. Let's continue. Imagine you've followed all the instructions from these voices of wellness and enlightenment to the letter. You've done it all. Meditated without falling asleep, calmed your mind, found inner silence, aligned with the universe, lightened your heart, allowed life to flow through you. And guess what? You don't find any of the things they promise. Did you do it wrong? Are you still repeating the same behaviors? Are you not really committed? Did you forget to do something that, by some coincidence, turns out to be the most important thing of all? Maybe you just need to keep insisting. After all, it's a matter of faith and perseverance. Well, all of that is possible. But consider this. What if what's really happening is that you've gone one step further? What if you're not receiving answers or experiencing that promised epiphany, not because you did something wrong, but because you've reached a point where there are no answers, because at that point, they simply don't exist? Consider this. Reality is created by consensus. Besides the epiphanies experienced and shared by many, there's growing empirical data supporting this idea. You might think an epiphany is a subjective experience, and therefore, who really knows what the person in question actually experienced? After all, we're very fond of embellishing experiences we deem positive. But scientific arguments are something else, right? Well, in this case, those arguments tell you that even scientific data are mere subjective recreations of a reality we don't truly know, a reality created from the interpretations and projections of those who observe it. Reality is created minute by minute, second by second. If we accept this, we can define three groups of people: those who don't question any of this and think chance rules the world, those who have heard of it but don't give it much thought, and finally, those who believe they know the rules of the game and claim to know how to use them to their advantage. All three groups do the same thing. They create reality. Most of the time, even those who think they know how to manipulate the game do so unconsciously. Consciously or unconsciously, reality is created. Minute by minute and second by second, reality is created. It's not pre-existing. Now, here's a question that might be terrifying. What if all this we identify as reality doesn't need to exist? What if creating reality isn't necessary? What if life doesn't have a hidden meaning, a master plan, a preordained purpose designed for you by some higher being? God, the universe, or whatever. What if everything you've been told about reality, personal growth, or spiritual evolution is just a collective fantasy that millions of beings in this and other planes have decided to believe and therefore to create? What if God or the supreme intelligence doesn't care one bit whether you create reality or not? What if it makes no difference whether you play the game or decide to quit? And best of all, what if you can break the engagement and stop playing and nothing happens? Maybe when your search leads you to nothing, when it doesn't bring the sense of meaning you were told exists, when it doesn't reveal the purpose behind it all. Maybe, just maybe, it's because that search has taken you beyond the mental structures that create this reality that we've all built and in which most of us are stranded. The art of not knowing anything is the art of living a full life under these conditions. The art of not knowing anything is not a call to nihilism, materialism, or existential frustration. It's not about resigning yourself to a life devoid of meaning, but learning to live in a state where neither questions nor answers are necessary to live a fulfilling life. This doesn't mean falling into apathy, indifference, or retreating into extreme materialism. Quite the opposite. It's an invitation to embrace life as it is, with all its uncertainties, contradictions, and mysteries, and most of all, to stop searching. Because when we search, we do it with the mind, and it's at that moment that we start creating reality. Hey, you mentioned something earlier about breaking the engagement. On various occasions, Buddha proposed that at the end of the path, where he arrived, one would find that, to quote his own words, births have been extinguished, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there is no more becoming. The end of becoming, according to Buddha's interpretation, is the complete cessation of the process of birth and therefore of death. Death ceases, not because immortality is reached, but because there is no rebirth. In that state, the mind becomes pure and luminous and returns to its original state, nothingness. From what I understand, Buddha makes it clear that it's possible to stop creating reality and leave the game, although that implies, according to Buddha, attaining full enlightenment. Buddha insisted it's within everyone's reach. My experience suggests that while it surely is, it's a bit tough to get there. Right now you're here and you're playing, but when it's your turn to start again, you have the option not to repeat. Nothing says you must keep playing. You can break the deck. Will they make it easy for you? Most likely not. But if you're capable of maintaining your decision, if that's what you want to do, nothing and no one can hold you accountable or force you to come back. Consider that maybe the emptiness you find, the frustration you feel, and the unexplainable void may be a reflection that deep down you already know all of this. And what you really long for isn't a prosperous and abundant life. Although it's welcome if it comes, let's not confuse understanding how all this works with being foolish. I'm not saying you shouldn't strive for a good life, but perhaps what you truly long for is to end the game and say that's it. Maybe creating reality is a big trap that ultimately only ties you more to this world and distances you further from the possibility of breaking the engagement.